What's up, fight fans, and welcome back to the Vegas Odds Recap Show. I am Garrett Kerman, and with me, as always, is my man Joe Danger himself, Jesse Hobson. What's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, just counting my money after the big wins over the weekend. Like it would have been a bigger weekend had Corey Anderson not been a team player, but it is what it is.
I know. MMA, for the most part was profitable. UFC slight profit. Bellator I was so close of hitting big, but it is what it is. That's the name of the game when it comes to sports betting on MMA. All these crazy different scenarios that could possibly happen. Just like this past weekend on the UFC, so many fouls happened, so many technical decisions. You normally don't see a technical decision on an entire card. We saw not one but two technical decisions due to illegal strikes and the opponent not being able to continue. And both of the times it was the guy that was dominating that was able to, did the illegal blow
Yeah,
and actually got the win. That's crazy.
it's interesting. I wanted to get your take on this as well because the Chris Barnett fight, the Martin Bidet, he was dominating from start to finish. I think the part that annoyed me about it was Barnett was like all about the illegal blow. I can't see, I'm hurt. And then as soon as they announced it was going to the scorecards, he's like, "Hold on, I'm good, let's go." But the obviously the ref and the doctor had already said he can't go on. But it was I thought it was interesting how he totally changed his tune as soon as that announcement was made.
I was weirded about that as well, but it looked like he still wanted to fight in essence, but and the thing is with that illegal strike, obviously I don't think it was intentional. I don't think the other illegal strike by Bohio, I think
Yeah.
it was Bohio, also wasn't intentional either. But with Barnett, he was turning away from the strike, so it's kind of hard to keep landing a strike and then all of a sudden he turns his head away and then you're illegally striking him in the back of the head. But the thing is, it still clipped the ear as well. So technically, I think that was a legal strike because they tell you beforehand
Yeah.
to hit the ear. As long as it hits the ear, that's all legal.
Here's another response to that. You mentioned that it is a intention or it's an unintentional blow. I mean, you could literally argue that every illegal strike is unintentional. So
Essentially, yes.
so it's kind of a weird way of handling it. I forget who the referee was, but yeah, he was like, it was unintentional. We're not taking a point. We're gonna go to the scorecards, and I'm like, I thought that was a weird way to word it because every single, or in most cases, illegal blows are unintentional. In unless you're just a downright scumbag.
At the end of the day, every single blow is intentional. You're
Yeah.
intending to hurt your opponent, and you're not intentionally looking to do an illegal strike. So if the fight ends, do you just end the fight because it's an illegal blow? Do they get DQ'd no matter what, even though they did it by accident?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
That's where you have the gray area. Like, yes, it's unintentional, but now he can't fight anymore. Now the fight's over, but it's unintentional. He did it by accident, so he shouldn't lose. But technically, the guy couldn't fight anymore, so he should lose. I don't know, man. It's
Well,
hard.
it was Mergliata, and I think it was I believe it was him anyway. At least that's what I'm
It
getting
was.
here.
It was.
But did you see what DC tweeted after it? And he's like, so basically, what you're telling fighters is that if you are winning rounds 1 and 2, that you should you should do an illegal blow in round 3, and then hope that it goes to the scorecards. Because at that point, you're winning round 1, you're winning round 2. If you remove your opponent from the fight, ultimately you're going to win the fight. Maybe we need to revisit these unified rules to kind of combat, no pun intended, something like that, because he's not wrong. And if you are a smart fighter, if you have IQ in the octagon, while that is a shifty way to win a fight, you're still gonna get the W, and that's really the name of the game.
Yeah, I know. It's really unfortunate because Badai's, fight was kind of has an asterisk next to it because it ended the way it did. And Bahio as well, especially Bahio because it was such a dominant performance from bell to bell. And for him to do such an illegal strike like he did and get the win the way he did, kind of sucks because he looked really good and he looked like a really good prospect. But with that said, like who kind of stood out to you the most here? There were some that did stood out to me, but who kind of stood out for you?
I have an odd choice here. TJ Laramie. While he didn't win the fight, I thought he looked very much improved. I also went back and kind of watched what I said about him. I think I was more disgruntled because he lost his last fight,
Me too.
and I had so much money on him. But for his size, and then coming from where he came as far as that loss goes, and then also fighting Sabatini to a 3-round decision. I was really impressed with his improvements. He looked good on the feet. He never gave up. He did look upset between rounds, obviously, but and that's warranted. But Sabatini is good. Laramie hung, as well as he could, which it is what it is.
Yeah, I was surprised with it. I thought he should, he was close to getting finished. He was able
Yeah,
to, get out of the bad positions. And, once Sabatini takes your back, it's almost a given that he's going to sink in that rear naked choke. So to be able to, battle out of those submissions, not get finished, it was, it was good on his part. But, someone that stands out to me is there was a lot actually, to be honest. There was like at least 4 or 5 fighters that really stood out to me. But Jakar Close, I think, stood out to me with that dominant performance, that knockout. I know it was against a guy in Brandon Jenkins that shouldn't be in the UFC, but that was, impressive because of all the stuff that he's been going through over the last year or so. To be able to come back and have a performance the way he did, like he did, and then battling the scales too.
yeah.
All that added emotions running through him. He came in and performed beautifully, and I think hopefully no more injuries, and he can get back on and get back in there sooner rather than later and get another win under his belt and keep moving up. He's only 12-2. He's still got a ways to go, but he's got a good record. He's still a really good lightweight prospect. So I'm looking forward to that. And then you look at guys like Munir Lazez. What a brawl! What a fight! Win there and absolutely did work. Absolutely outworked Losa in that fight. He looked great. And then you have Devin Clark, dominant performance. That knockout in the 3rd round was insane. He looked the best there, and he went up against a powerhouse and Knight. He took his best shots, ended him in round 3. That was very impressive, considering he gave up like 30 pounds of weight, I believe, or something like around
Yeah.
that. Hoffa Garcia too.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you were going to mention. I was insanely impressed with Garcia, Lazez. I was just happy to see Close back. I
Right.
don't think that Lusa or Lazez, I don't think either one of their stock really went down. But yeah, Garcia, holy shit, what a
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you say about that?
Oh man, that was definitely was expecting it, obviously, because I had Jesse Bronson, but Garcia, he looked really good. He's poised. He showed he's extremely well rounded. He knows how to win rounds. He gets the takedowns late. He grinds his opponents out. His cardio has looked a lot better. He's got good chin. His movements looked improved. He just looks like a brand new fighter. He doesn't look like the fight that we saw against Chris Gritzmacher, where he was a minus 500 favorite and then shit the bed. So maybe we keep, if we keep holding on to that L, then we're going to keep losing money on this guy because we're always going to want to fade him because, he put, a dent in our pocket in pretty much a gimme fight against Chris Gritzmacher. So I think he absolutely outperformed my thoughts on him, and I do think I might potentially bet him, this next time around.
Yeah, another performance that I want to mention that we did bet against was Jordan Levitt. Still not a fan of him because he's
Nope,
so weird. Well, how many punches did he throw?
none,
Exactly. Which like
none.
the fact that he won that fight was insane to me because I understand the split, but it was like odd. Like I just didn't understand him celebrating because that's definitely not a performance you would want to celebrate. I mean, yeah, you won. You also bet on yourself. Good on you. But damn, dude, like you're that shit with you and your little ad, like that is so weird. And take that somewhere else. And then the fact that Cormier is like just like so proud of it, that is really strange. Like I don't know if that's how y'all handle y'all's gym, but if I was a part of any of that, I would think twice about going back. The other thing, Devin Clark, yeah, I within our little circle, I was the only one that thought that he could do it, and I also think I know that William Knight took this fight on short notice. Whatever, I don't really care. He's that's cool. You're a team player and all that, but you give up. He gives up every fight. Devin Clark, he wanted to be there. He wanted to be there all 3 rounds, and it proves the way that it ended that he wanted to be there. Back in the win column, happy to see that. And then another thing I wanted to mention was Lena Landsberg. I mentioned that in our breakdown that it wasn't going to be as easy of she wasn't going to get walked through. I mean, of course it did go to a 3-round decision. She had her moments, but yeah, she kind of showed why she belonged in that fight, which is what I expected. Was it still unanimous in the other direction? Yeah, sure. Did I cash? Yeah, sure. But yeah, I figured, like I said, she's going to have her moments. She is not the elbow queen for nothing, and she showed you guys that she can still hang, which I appreciated.
The one that I kind of questioned a little bit. I had money on one of these sides, but the fight between Mayra Bueno Silva and Yanan Wu. Am I wrong to think that Wu won that fight?
That's I would be so upset if I had money on Wu.
She lost round 1. I know that.
Yeah.
Round 2, she definitely won. It's that third round. I know Silva landed about the same amount of strikes as Wu, but I think Wu was the one that was pressing more. She was fresher. She threw more volume. And I don't know how she didn't win that third round. I mean, I'm happy she didn't win that third round, but I thought she won.
And I do too. I haven't looked at the stats, to be honest with you. I basically watched the fight, and then I was happy that her name wasn't said, and then I just kind of moved on to the next one. It's almost to the point because we got the brutal knockout in the next fight, and then we got the
oh yeah, I forgot about Andre Fialo.
Yeah, the near DQ in the fight after that, and then we got the main event. So because of which the Silva and Wu fight almost gets kind of forgotten, except for me counting my dollar bills. But yeah, I agree with you. It was a much closer fight than I expected. Therefore, there's kind of these new question marks surrounding Silva, and then at the same time, it kind of I think a lot of people wrote off Wu in a way because I was seeing discussions as who is this? Why is she here? Like, why is she on the main card? And I feel like, looking back, this fight was probably set up for her to ultimately lose and kind of showcase Silva, but didn't go down that way.
No, definitely not. Like I was expecting like a dominant 30-27. Didn't get that whatsoever. It was definitely a sweat. I know better next time, but yeah, the next fight we got to talk about Andre Fialo absolutely brutally knocking out Miguel Baeza. Wow.
Yeah.
Can't say I'm surprised, but how bad it was, I am a little surprised.
I watched that knockout a couple times, and because it's impressive.
Yeah,
I am a little surprised. Baeza kind of went from being this like almost like a roller coaster. Like he's up, 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 and then it's like that log ride at Six Flags, then down. His career is taking this weird turn. I don't know how he's gonna get back to where he was. Like it's odd. I'm curious to see what happens next, but that was fun. That was an impressive KO, and then it just I liked it that much more because it made this card go that much faster between us guys. Us guys.
I can't say I'm surprised because I knew Fialo had it in him. I knew he had knockout power. I knew Baez's chin always gets checked. He always takes a bunch of beatings. He always tends to get into firefights and brawls. So if he got into that brawl and did not stay technical, yeah, that was pretty much the writing on the wall. And it sucks because now he's lost 3 in a row, and there's a potential that he does get cut, and he's got a lot of potential. But now, who knows what's left for him? And plus, he's been mentally kind of checked out too. Every loss after loss, he's just taking it harder and harder. So kind of sucks. Hopefully, he gets back in there with a different mind frame.
I don't want to live. Sorry, I don't want to live in a world where Devin Clark, where William Knight's in the UFC and Miguel Baeza is not in the UFC. So if
they might both go, who knows?
Well, if one goes, if Baeza goes, Knight has to go as well, because that would be, I don't know. That's not a world I want to be a part of.
Yeah. But yeah, and then you got the co-main event, Kai Baha.
Yeah.
And Omar Gatsiev. Can't say it was an exciting fight. Definitely was not. Was a dominant performance by Bahaho, but yeah, that's about it. I mean, it was just a grappling fight. Bahajo is a lot better grappler than I thought he was. Now knowing he does train with Damian Maia, so I can see why he's as good as he is. And I do think he's a good prospect. He really is. He's got legit stand up. I love his karate style, and his grappling chops are extremely good. So, and he got a good win. That's a very impressive win for his first debut, because he didn't go against a scrub. He went against another undefeated prospect.
Kind of checked out on this one. It was not exactly the fight that I expected. With him, I just didn't know him as that type of fighter. And what I want to say about the main event is that I see all of these people saying, like Belal is like so boring. Well, if you think he's so boring, put some money on him. It makes that fight so much more less boring. And I think I saw the graphic. He's 3-3-1 as an underdog. Like I mentioned previously, I bet on him all of those times. And this type of performance is exactly why I bet on him, especially when he is an underdog, because he fought the perfect fight. He got a takedown in every round. I'm pretty sure he outstruck him in most rounds. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Like, it was, for not only is he a personality inside the octagon, his personality outside of the on Twitter as well. He's interesting. He's well spoken. Was it the most entertaining fight? No, but it was awesome. Like, he did everything he needed to do. It was like he had a game plan and he stuck to it. And Garrett, he says more often than not, if there's a rematch, you always want to bet the over. Obviously we did that both on Friday and Saturday. But this particular fight paid off in more ways than one, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. I'm a fan of his through and through. And I love the call out of Colby. I think that was pretty cool. Do I want to see that happen? Sure. Do I think he'll beat him? No. But it'll be fun to watch.
That was like you said, the perfect fight. Luque is one of the most dangerous fighters at 170 pounds. You cannot stand in front of him, which he didn't do. He was always on his bike. He was always side to side. He was always moving, always. For 25 minutes, this man was moving and moving and moving. Always. He was never steady. He was never in one place. He was always hard to hit. He was always throwing back every single time. And Luque was just coming forward, just stalking forward. He was not able to cut off the angles. He was not able to really hunt him down. He was always just following him around the cage. And then Belal's footwork was just impressive. And then his takedowns were super impressive too, because he would fake for like a knee or something like that, and then he'll dive right into the takedown. So he kept him guessing. He couldn't just come forward and try to make this a brawl, because then he'd get taken down. And that's exactly what happened time and time again for every single round. I mean, Luque only won one round. One single round he won. And that's how impressive Muhammad was. I knew the longer this fight goes, the more it would be in Muhammad's favor. I knew if it went to a decision, more than likely Muhammad was going to win. I just didn't think Luque had enough power to knock out Muhammad in this time. He's super durable, and I don't think he was going to submit him either. He had a chance to. I think it was in the 4th round, but Muhammad was ready for it. He already knew that he's going to have to defend Darce chokes as much as humanly possible. So it was just the perfect fight. It was great. He did exactly as I thought he would do. Mix in the takedown, stay on the outside, and just pick him apart. And it was a thing of beauty because, it's hard to fight that kind of fight against a fighter as dangerous as Luque in a small octagon.
Yep.
So kudos to him. He's elite. He's top 5. Like you said, I like to call out Colby. Do I think that fight's going to happen? Absolutely not. I kind of believe they're going to give Usman Hamzat, and they're going to say F you to Leon Edwards and give Leon Edwards Belal Muhammad.
I agree as well. Another thing I wanted to mention was I listened to a couple of your breakdowns. Not only was he moving the entire time, but Luque was frustrated. Even in some of his losses, or fights that, kind of turned, things shifted between rounds and he still ended up winning. He's never, ever been that frustrated as he was, because as soon as he would kind of pin him into a corner, Belal would kind of move around or turn around or just move ultimately, to the point where Luque just had no chance for offense. And I think that a lot of people, because of his style and because he is such a humble fighter, people forget how good Belal is. Don't get me wrong. Luque is really good too. His resume kind of showcases that, especially his most recent wins and the way that he does win. It's usually fairly devastating, but your breakdowns in particular kind of showcased exactly what happened and what we saw. It was literally they say night and day. It was day and day. It was the same exact thing.
I just felt Muhammad made the stride ever since he last lost to him.
Yeah.
And he was 10-1 since then. Now he's 11-1. He's at the top of the heap. And, the sky's the limit for him because he could do a lot. And he's a grinder. He's a hard worker. He's not great in one specific area, but he's good everywhere. And he works extremely hard. This fight card definitely was kind of lackluster. And then unfortunately, next fight up, this weekend, definitely also lackluster. But, we got a fight card. We got money to be made. That's what we're here for on Vegas Odds. That's what we're here. We're here to put money in your pockets. So that's this week's recap show here on the Vegas Odds YouTube channel.
Look me up. You can see my name below, and that's me on YouTube.
Go over to the Vegas Odds YouTube channel and like and subscribe there for us. And we will be back Wednesday night for the breakdown, putting more money into your pockets. And we will see you then.